Hi, I'm Teja Gerken with Peghead Nation, and I'm here with a Thompson 014 SMM guitar. Like most Thompson guitars, this is of course a custom instrument with specs that are fairly particular to this particular example of this model. And as Thompson so often does, it's the kind of instrument that you look at and you go, oh, that's a take on a vintage guitar, and that is only partially true. Of course, those of us who are familiar with many instruments will look at an instrument like this and kind of be reminded of, say, a Martin 017, maybe from the 40s or 50s, but there's a lot going on in this instrument that separates it from those vintage guitars, and I think in this example it really suits a contemporary player a lot better than vintage guitars of this particular kind would be, and that's really something that Thompson specializes in, so I'm really quite taken with this instrument. As you can probably tell, it has an all-mahogany body. In the case of this guitar, Thompson uses their sinker mahogany. Sinker mahogany, of course, refers to the fact that the logs of the wood have been were submerged in some cases for many decades. Something happens to the wood, a certain crystallization when it is submerged for so long, and it tends to be really great sounding wood. This certainly is no exception to that. The guitar is very lightweight, and I happen to really like mahogany on guitars, and I think this particular example is just gorgeous. Really nice figuring, really great color all around. Tiny bit of sort of almost flame-like figure in the back, but beautiful striping. A little darker on the top than the back and sides, but just super attractive all around. A lot of vintage guitars of this type would have had no binding because they were built to be very simple instruments. In this case, we have mahogany binding, so mahogany top and back and sides, and mahogany binding. But the coloring is just different enough to where it really offsets the woods quite nicely. There's some black purfling in between, and it sort of makes the guitar a little bit more upscale without really varying the traditional simple construction of these guitars too much. So I think it's a really beautiful approach to creating something a little bit different. They also used a wooden rosette on the guitar, which again I think really adds to the sort of the warm feeling that you get with an all mahogany guitar like this. Really attractive in my opinion. Of course, we also have a mahogany neck, and you may have already noticed that we have a slotted peghead, which is something that you wouldn't ordinarily see on a 14-fret O-size guitar. Slotted peghead with Waverly tuners, and it's also a long scale. Traditionally, a 14-fret O-size guitar, or really almost all O-size guitars, would have a short scale, typically 24.9 inches. This is a full 25.4 inches, so that's really a radical difference from a traditional style 14-fret O guitar. Gives you a little bit more power, probably, would hold alternate tunings a little bit better, so probably creates a bit more of a powerful guitar, and I think that's a very cool thing to do. I've seen this done on double O's before. I'm not sure I've seen it on a single O, so very neat. Ebony fingerboard and bridge, beautiful pyramid style bridge, also ebony bridge pins, bone saddle, traditional diamonds and squares inlays, and this is the soft V neck shape that Thompson uses on a lot of their guitars. Also, we have a 1 3/4 inch nut width and string spacing at the saddle of 2 5/16, which again is a little bit wider than most vintage style guitars of this style, which tend to be a little bit narrow. And for me as a fingerstyle player, I find those guitars sound beautiful, but a lot of times I'm feeling a little bit too cramped to play them. So this really is just a beautiful adaptation of that concept, brought into an era where a lot of people are using modern techniques but want that vintage kind of feel and sound overall, and this really delivers that. So a lot of people use these small mahogany type guitars in accompaniment roles. They can work really nice to accompany vocals, and they can just really sit nicely in a pocket, especially when you're playing them with larger guitars or with spruce top guitars. And they often sound quite nice strummed as well. So let me give you a little bit taste of that. Develops nice volume. I would guess that the long scale kind of helps focus the guitar a little bit more and be able to take a little bit heavier strum. So really quite a nice dynamic range. Just a ton of fun to play. The guitar has pre-war style scalloped Adirondack spruce bracing. The back braces are also made from Adirondack spruce, and Thompson used their hand-rubbed finish on this, which again I think just adds to the beauty of this wood. It's not quite as shiny as a high gloss would be, but really has a lovely organic look and feel. So one of the advantages of having the long scale on this guitar is that it is much better suited for drop tunings than a shorter scale version of this style of instrument would be. So right now I'm in C, G, C, G, C, D tuning, and I'll go out playing a little bit of Shebek Shemor for you. I hope you come back here to Peghead Nation to check out more of our gear demos and also all of our lessons. If you're seeing this on YouTube, definitely go over to pegheadnation.com for, again, all of our gear demos as well as the lessons we offer, not just for guitar, but many other stringed instruments as well. My name is Teja Gerken, and I hope to see you very soon.